I am on the eastern edge of one of the richest neighborhoods in Toronto. It is known as the Bridle Path neighborhood. And in the Bridle Path neighborhood is one of the most beautiful gardens in the city. It's known as Edwards Gardens, home of the Toronto Botanical Gardens, right here on the Bridle Path. And I'm going to be making my way north here towards Lawrence Avenue East along Bridle Path Road. And there are not too many roads inside of the Bridle Path neighborhood. And a lot of these homes are gated and have security. And back in 2014, this neighborhood was declared the richest neighborhood in Toronto, Canada. Look at that. That's insane. Look at that, guys. And homes in the Bridle Path neighborhood go for over $2 million at the low end. And the properties are between 2 to 4 acres. People who have lived in the Bridle Path include Prince, the musician. Celine Dion used to live in the Bridle Path. Conrad Black, a newspaper baron and a convicted convict, lived in the Bridle Path as well. And I am on the eastern edge of the Bridle Path. It is a fall day here in Toronto, so you're going to see a lot of foliage. There is a speaker there, or monitor. They have cameras here, so you're not getting in. And so far as I know, and they have very mature trees throughout the Bridle Path. And apparently some people who own properties here also have their own personal security. I know Drake does, and Drake also bought a property in the Bridle Path neighborhood in 2010. And the Bridle Path initially, the plans for the Bridle Path neighborhood included equestrian, there's a nice car, included equestrian bridle paths, because this neighborhood used to be farmland. I am now at Lawrence Avenue East. And so this neighborhood actually used to be farmland. And there's not much foot traffic happening in this neighborhood. As you can tell, there is no sidewalks. And back in 1920, the plan for the equestrian bridle paths, because this was mostly farmland here, most folks would ride horses. So that was the initial plan for the area. And then in the 1930s, this area was bought up and the farmland plots were sold in the 1930s for about $25,000 a lot. And this neighborhood was meant only for the elite. And it took a few years, but this neighborhood eventually attracted folks with a lot of money. These folks even have a bridge on their property. It's insane. And the consensus for this neighborhood, and that's someone's entire property there, guys. There's their house behind the trees. And they own this whole lot here. I noticed some newer development across from me here along Lawrence Avenue East. They look like they're building something across the way there. And the majority of the homes in the Bridle Path neighborhood are mansions. And the ultra rich in Canada reside here. There's some development going on across the street there. Let's have a look at this one. Here on the corner, behind all these trees. Who needs a fence when you got all these mature trees protecting you? Along with your camera system and your fencing. I've now reached High Point Road, walking west through the Bridle Path neighborhood. Just gonna make a left here to have a closer look at this mansion. Again, no sidewalks. And generally, the richer neighborhoods in Toronto do not have sidewalks because they don't want any foot traffic happening. Get a load of this. I don't know if anyone resides here. Doesn't look like anyone lives in there, but I do see a bit of a light in the window. Let's walk north on High Point Road. What's behind this fence? Looks like some vacant land. Perhaps they tore down a house that used to sit here. Just land here, guys. Nothing on it. It looks as though at one time there was a house there on High Point Road. But let's keep walking. So this is an enclave. I'm not going to encounter too many pedestrians or traffic. Because like I said, there aren't too many main roads running through the Bridle Path. Yeah, this house mansion is under construction. Let's have a look over the fence. Look at that. Jesus. Look at the property here, guys. That belongs to whoever lives in that mansion there. Got another gated fence here. And the first house built in the Bridle Path neighborhood was built at 2 Bridle Path Road. Look at that, guys. Watch out for dogs. Keep gate closed. They have cameras there. Let's have a peek over the gate. And that is some gate. That is some gate. Look at the detail. They've got their intercom there. It's like zigzag. Here on High Point Road. Look at how high this... Like I said, guys, you don't need a fence when you're using nature as your barrier. I mean, talk about keeping the rest of us out. Jeez, look how high that is. Almost as high as that hydro pole there. All of this pine fencing, and they have the same thing happening here on the other side, so you can't even see in. And then they have the mature trees, allowing them to ensure their privacy. Oh, I'm seeing a sidewalk now. Man, that looks like a palace across the street. I mean, that's as big as some schools in Toronto, publicly funded schools. Here's another property. That is insane. Looks like they also have an underground garage on this side. And another additional property beside that mansion. Nobody's trick-or-treating on this stretch of Toronto. Look at that roundabout driveway. Incredible. This is how the other half live, guys. This is how the other half live. Here in the Bridle Path neighborhood. This place here looks like it'd be redeveloped. Look at the property. Again, between 2 to 4 acres each person owns. Doesn't look like anything's being done to this building. There is a fence around it with a lock, which perhaps suggests they're going to be tearing that building down. There's another mansion across the street. Look at how high. I find it shocking how high they have the foliage there as a natural sort of block. Look at this. It looks like a park. I can't believe this is somebody's personal property in Toronto. It looks like a park. The amount of land they have. I'm gonna keep walking here. Yeah. There's a house there behind the trees. And one of the more popular properties in the Bridle Path that fans generally have come to and has been a bit notorious at times is Drake's property, his mansion. Damn! Look at this fence, guys. That's insane. Ooh, isn't that pretty? I wonder who lives inside of there. They got like 4 cars. Look at that. Look at that technology. Pretty quiet and peaceful. No kidding. Oh, look at that. There seems to be a little opening there. Probably could slip in and have a look for us. I hear a fountain. Perhaps they have a water fountain on this property on High Point Road. Incredible. Look at that, guys. That's insane. Monitored and protected 24/7. And there is the fountain there. Lit up real pretty. I guess these people wouldn't be very neighborly, eh? Given that they are living in a Fort Knox of sorts. Ooh, look at this one. They got so many cars there. Look at, guys. They got a Tesla. like a viper, but I'd have to look over. And beautiful fall foliage as I walk through the Bridle Path neighborhood. Oh, interesting for Halloween, and they do have Halloween decor. Look at that. Only in the Bridle Path would you get Halloween decor like that. Look at those cars. And they've got more Halloween decor. Not just in front, but also right at the entranceway, and there's security there. Let me see if I can see it from here, guys. I don't want to get in trouble here. Look at that, and it looks like, what is that, Shrek? And they have a beautiful water fountain, but this is the first mansion I've seen with Halloween decor. And they also have security with the flashing lights. Curious who lives here. Ooh, this guy's giving me the willies. And I ain't talking about the security guard. Stop looking at me, sir. Stop looking at me, sir. Lush, manicured garden. Just spectacular property here on High Point Road. I wonder if that's just to act as a deterrent. Like if somebody were walking by and saw something like that, they'd be less inclined to jump the fence. I would say so myself. Curious. This is called the... Okay. And I will keep walking up High Point Road. What is behind there? You can't even see the mansion behind there. They got it really high here with all the trees. Incredible. I'm going to keep going. Speed bumps so that folks don't use this road. Look at these properties, just insane. I would say the crime is pretty low in the Bridle Path. I mean, the last time I heard of problems in the Bridle Path involved Drake and Kendrick, both rappers, where there was a shooting outside of Drake's mansion. Otherwise, this is a safe part of Toronto here in the Bridle Path. No kidding. No kidding. mommy. Look at that. Incredible. You can look, but you cannot touch. You cannot touch. And the other neighborhood that draws in the rich would be the Rosedale neighborhood. But the Rosedale neighborhood in Toronto is more old money. And the Bridle Path is considered new money. And yeah, they have a hierarchy in terms of the rich too. I mean, what would it matter? You're rich. But that is how it goes. Let's cross the street here. This is where High Point Road ends. No lights. No lights and no stop signs. Ooh, mommy, look at this one, guys. It looks like a school in terms of size. Look at that one. Gatehouse. At least we have a sidewalk. I'm not. And I'm still walking west. That was the end of High Point Road. Ooh, I wonder who lives here. Look at that. That is one heck of a garage, if I were to say so myself. Look at this, guys. You've got, it might go past there, but what I can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, mommy, how many cars do you have? Look at this grass. I'm quite confident a portion of this belongs to the city of Toronto. I mean, I can't assume that people in the Bridle Path own the boulevard all the way up to the road, but at least they're taking care of it. Another property here. Look at the manicure gardens. Just stunning. Just stunning. Well, they have Halloween decor, but not too many people can appreciate it other than them. I mean, it's right up beside their mansion there, but they do have a skeleton standing there. Looks like a castle. They have a fence here. Look at this garden, guys. Let's see if I can get up closer before I get tasered. Tasered, I say. And there's that skeleton. Keep and watch, so that content creators like me do not come in. That's still their property, guys, and they have garage there as well. Look at that. And apparently that other fence there to this property was the exit. This is the entrance. Let's get my butt to the other side in a moment. Look at this property. The hydro wires seem awfully low. Like I got one running across here. I wonder what's up with that, why they're so low here. There's something else over there. I don't know what they're doing. Look at that brick wall. It's Fort Knox. It is Fort Knox. And not only that, guys, like look at this. This is insane. They have this brick wall around their property, but they also have this netted fencing. I don't know if you can see that. So I guess it would prevent people from throwing things over the wall here. Look at that. They even have probably servant's house or something like that, guys. Looks like they have a pool there too. Cameras every which way. I see a camera there monitoring. I see a camera there. So this road was post road that I was walking on. And you can see the brick work on the roadway. Very, very different from most streets and roads in Toronto. This is High Park. Which way to go? Which way to go? I kind of am being drawn this way. How about we walk up High Park? Oh, my apologies. Hyde Park. Hyde Park. Just beautiful. Look at this road. How nicely done it is. They even have a little playground in the back. These look like newer mansions here. These ones here, you seem to be able to get a little bit closer. There isn't that big gate. Oh, that looks beautiful. Oh, isn't that lovely? Look at that. And I'm the only one here, guys. Not a pedestrian-friendly zone. Some logs for your fireplace. Wow, unbelievable. Just incredible. These are definitely smaller though than the other ones I walked past. Oh, this one seems kind of creepy. The gates are open. Oh, there. I think I just saw a bunny. So this is Hyde Park Circle. And there's a helicopter going by here in the Bridle Path neighborhood. Probably the only noise you're going to hear. So this is basically a dead end. So that would probably explain why they got their gates open. Generally, people don't come down this way. Incredible. Look at that. Right at the end of the circle here. Talk about having privacy. So there you have it, guys. A walk through the richest neighborhood in Toronto, in Canada, the Bridle Path neighborhood.